that's going to be the key elements. It's not complicated. It's just quite deep and so authentic. It just can't be duplicated. There's nothing else like home enthronement. Nothing.
Wow. You're getting me more excited as we talk about it. Hi, I'm so happy to be talking to you today, Myrna. Thank you for coming on to share more about home enthronement, which we're going to get into in just a minute. I'm Lisa Martinez. I'm the founder of Little with Great Love. We are a restoration ministry that uses storytelling to bring hope, healing, and restoration in Christ to others. And today I have one of my dear friends that I used to work with in Louisiana on to talk about all things from crawfish to home enthronement, right?
Okay, let's go.
There we go, girl. Myrna Miller, thank you for being with us today. And you are with Cajun Prairie Signature Foods. And I used to work with you before it was called that, but now we've got an upgrade and you're doing awesome things over in Louisiana, aren't you?
I'm super excited. Yes, after 30 years of special events, catering and decorating and all over the country, which you helped me with for a few years of that, we're just retiring into our love, which was beginning, in the beginning with herbs and all our packaged foods. And it's super fun to bring just our passion greater to the world. And thank you for your help.
Yeah, I'm so blessed that I get to do that. And so I know that you're a businesswoman. You're also a devout Catholic. And I love that when we worked together, we really got to share our faith and it came through in your business, cooking with spirit, that type of thing. So tell me a little bit about your background in terms of like where you heard about this home enthronement. Like, how did this get started for you?
Really, we always say we have a motto in my family: mission is life. So when the Lord called us, I was, as they call cradle Catholic. I prefer to say my faith was a gift.
Yeah.
And no, there was not home enthronement active before I went on a mission with our parish priest, Father Jules Orsino, and that idea was introduced. So I naturally became very inquisitive, as I am, and thought, oh, wow, the Sacred Heart of Jesus, Sacred Heart of Jesus, that speaks volumes to me, and started just working with my parish priest, but there was no active ministry in this area. And so it really sat kind of dormant for a few years until, as they changed, the priest came along, Father Matthew, and I mentioned it to him and he's like, we need to bring that back. That is the best thing. That's what's missing in our parish. That's what's missing in our homes. We got to enthrone. I said, yes, to the king. We need him. We need the king of love in our homes.
Yeah.
So you do get it. And he's like, well, of course. Thank you. We're going to bring it back. So we actually enthroned just from being given, this is what you do. This is what you say. This is what you get. And that's how it started.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it was life-changing, but it came with struggles at the beginning. Like any good thing that you want to do, I want to tell you, when it tells you to pray and be prepared, do so, because he is not happy. And that only tells you of the power. So when we get a little more deeper, I can share with you why I believe that power is so strong. But that's how it happened to begin with. Okay.
Yeah.
It went well beyond into other countries after that, but that's how it began.
I love it. I love that. So that's how it started. And tell us a little bit about what is home enthronement. What does that mean?
So, when you mentioned just suddenly today, home enthronement, of course, is we honor the Sacred Heart. We do litanies to the Sacred Heart. We pray, we see, we know in rough times, hard times, we have it to cling to. I mean, who wouldn't want to know that heart is pounding for us, right?
Yeah.
But the difference is opening your heart and your home at the same time. So our homes and our businesses,
Yeah.
okay, the place where you work may not always be possible, but I'm saying as self-employed, it was certainly an absolute must. So, or in a place where you work, Lisa, when you worked with us, and we did it together in the big atrium in the catering hall. So if you worked with someone, that would be open or witness to them as to the greatness they could bring to their business. So he's the king of love. our homes need more love. Jesus said to do it. He revealed this to St. Margaret Mary. I have here, real quick, the autobiography of St. Margaret Mary. 12 promises were revealed to her by Jesus. I want to read an opening. She says, he said, the word of the Lord to St. Margaret Mary.
Yeah.
Thou shalt possess the treasures of my heart, and I will permit thee to distribute them, so thou wilt in favor of souls that are ready to receive them. So she was given the mission by Jesus.
Yep.
Okay. So it was a devotion, but it wasn't a movement truly until Father Mateo in the early, which is a huge gap of time. I guess the simplicity to the answer is Jesus said to do it.
Jesus said to do it. He wants to be the center of our homes, right?
It's needed. I mean, this is an old image, but the King of Love. We think of Mary, our Mother Mary. Oh, so much love in the heart, and the pretty and the flowers. She leads us to him, right? So it's a matter of him being the King of Love and her leading us with. That's why, actually, just a little side note, when you're going to find out the details, I'm looking at mine on the wall right now, you're actually going to position her a little differently than you will the Sacred Heart.
Really?
Remember, she's at the foot of the cross.
Yes.
That's just a little hint. It's not that drastic, but there's a little hint. I said that. So she's leading you to him. So all of it, everything was so detailed in those 12 promises. I mean, they just make your hair stand up if you as long as if I do this, wow.
Right. If we have this devotion, it's beautiful because a few years ago we did a Saints of the Sacred Heart series. And so we talked about 3 of these. One is not officially a saint yet. So it's Josefa Menendez, who is she's in the process, of beatification. But we talked about Margaret Mary, right? And we talked about Josefa. And we talked about these saints. I'm trying to think of the third one that we did at the time because it's Gertrude.
Having visited. Yeah. So they both have that direct contact.
Right. And each one, it's not like he's saying anything contrary or anything. It's just continued revelations, right? So he's continuing to reveal more and bringing that back in each age, right? So there would be like a few hundred years or a couple hundred years between each one to just re-invoke that, the importance of the heart, right? And I think, what we love about the heart is that Jesus's heart is so vulnerable, right? He comes to us, and I've been reflecting on this on a video I was watching of Catholic speaker Chris Stefanik talking with Sister Miriam, who's another speaker and writer. Both of them are authors. And they were talking about the beauty of Jesus's heart is that he comes to us so vulnerable. His heart is just bleeding. It's open. He's totally disarmed. He's not like us, right? That we come in and we've got our defenses up, we've got our guard up, like we're ready to protect ourselves. And his heart is just completely exposed and bleeding, right?
Every mass.
We're receiving
all over the road, billions and billions of masses. There it is, just over and over again, right?
He never stops giving it. And so what you're doing then is just putting that in the center of your home, right? He's king here. He's king of my business. He's king of my home, right?
It's not acknowledgement. You say you're enthroning, but you're revealing it at the same time. Jesus revealed in your home. That, wow, really got me the chills.
Wow.
And because I think I just felt, a huge, remembrance of that time. The kids, I'm looking at the picture. We added some. We took family pictures.
Wow.
Yes, we took a family picture, and you know how important family pictures that we're all together are to me now, having lost our second son. But he's in that picture, and he was enthroned, and he was involved in the business enthronement with us, with you and I. And so you cannot possibly put enough importance on it. The one mention of it today, I'm like elated all over again in love with the King of Love.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, right? Is that it never stops, it never ends, it just goes deeper, right?
Correct.
And so you've done this, what did you do it? Maybe over 20 years ago? that you?
Yeah, about 25, 26 years ago was the first.
Yeah.
But then the Lord called us to share it with others. So we had the privilege of, places that I worked. I witnessed to them. Remember Miss Lynn, a catering hall that we did? She's like, of course, let's do it. And I've been very blessed to have a special priest as well. You don't have to have a mass in your home. I encourage you to stick it out and try your best to get an ordained priest to do that for you. If not, it's not required, but it is important. You can also have a deacon or maybe another strong apostolate, someone who's going to support you because you may need it. It is challenging in the most beautiful way because you will win.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. So you mentioned some things that you need. What do we need to do an enthronement? Like, what does that consist of?
It's been a long time, and the last enthronements we did was actually when our mother Mary revealed to me that she wanted Mexico. Mexico had not moved much at all that I know of. In fact, we had to have it translated into Spanish. All the books. Yes, one of our part-time missionaries, she translated the entire whole series, The Days of Prayer. What you need first, and I knew you were going to ask me that question, but I didn't think about it too hard because what you need most is putting the time aside for him.
And
I know I know we do that. You go on retreats, right? You go adoration, you have to, I go serve here, I do that. It's time aside, but there's still busyness and there's other pieces to the puzzle. This time aside is going to be for you, those of your household who are willing to participate. I'm going to pray every one of them for all of you. Everyone that is in your household or part of, you believe, your home, in your home.
Yeah.
They should be there if God wills it. The preparation is most important for those in the house. And sometimes that's not possible, and I understand that. But it's a huge witness, and let God do the work. Don't tell him. Remember, don't make him small.
Yeah.
So the most important is the days of preparation. So there's a booklet.
Yeah.
And or I believe you may have a good source of someone who's dedicated their basically life, the website, access to that. Just be sure that it includes the series of preparation. So there's beautiful prayers that you would do together.
Yeah.
There's also a confession, very important. Mass, if at all possible, which I think should be, because you can do it in a certain amount of time. Even if it's online, you can do it online. And if not, then you have spiritual communion. And then there's the images. In our camper, in our motorhome, our original, they were this big. They were just some simple little icons this big, but I still positioned them where they were supposed to go. So you have your images of the Sacred Heart and the Immaculate Heart. You're going to have set it as a throne originally. You'll be setting on a credenza, on a table or something. It's set in a place of honor. It may not be exactly where they stay, but it's where they need to be for the home enthronement. And the preparation booklets, that's going to be the key elements. It's not complicated. It's just quite deep and so authentic. It just can't be duplicated. There's nothing else like home enthronement. Nothing.
Wow. You're getting me more excited as we talk about it.
Be prepared. Be prepared. I'll give you a simple example. I had 4 children to dress. Of course, Garrett was late from work that day. I had laid out the clothes. I had everything, doing special events. I had a little bit of, I guess, edge on getting ready and clothes laid out. Lee, the oldest, I forgot what it was, but he's like, well, I didn't know I needed to wear dress pants. And he couldn't find the right pants. We literally went to the men's shop in town. And I said, okay, I don't know if I can pay this bill, but anything y'all have missing at home right now? A belt? Did you forget your belt at school? Are your pants torn from, playing football on the field in your dress pants? And what the heck? We're going to do this.
Yeah.
And there was some, got a little rough. And I recognized it. And we stopped and prayed right
Yeah.
there on Main Street in Eunice. And we stopped and prayed. And I said, devil be gone. You will not keep this
Yeah.
from happening for my family. I know those 12 promises and I want them for me and for them.
I love it. I got the chills as you say it because I know that how much you really mean that, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think it's important, you know, when we have a Marian consecration that we do through Little with Great Love. And it's the same type of thing. What you said is first, you know, there's a very holy priest that I send a video, you know, that talks about Marian consecration. The very first thing he says is what you said, which is you need to have the space available. It's not just the time, but it's like the space in your heart to be able to commit to this, right? Because it's not going to be easy, you know. I mean, we know that it's simple, right? There's things that it's laid out in a book. I'm going to share a website that you'll see that you can get everything that you need in one shot, you know, all of that. It's simple, but it's not necessarily going to be easy. And so it's making that commitment, right? That I'm creating that space and that time together that we're going to do this. We're going to follow through. Realize when we get the pushback that let's recognize it. Let's call
Right.
in, you know, the Blessed Mother, the Lord to, you know, do away with that because there's going to be noise. There's going to be distractions kick up. It means you're doing the right thing. You know,
That's
yeah,
right.
right. So we got that. What we need, you know, to do it, right, is we need to then get our images. So it's going to be a Sacred Heart, an Immaculate Heart. We need to get a booklet. And like I said, I'll be sharing that material here and show because we're going to get to resources next. We need the willingness and the chutzpah to keep us going, right? And we need each other in the process, right? So that we're journeying because it's
Right. That's right. Agreeing. Let me just add too, the agreeing in advance is a big help. I wanted to point this out. And we, you know, we got boys running to football and you got baseball and dancing and all this was happening. I'm speaking about my experience. And then of course, catered events and all of that, all of the above. What's important too is plan because you want to do the prayers together. You want to plan mass together, confessions, all of that. That may have to be a little bit separate. But the prayers together, I don't care what time it was at night or early in the morning, we planned it and they had to be there.
Yes.
They agreed to be there. That was part of the strength of it. They made a commitment even at, you know, 5 years old. This is what we're going to do. Television's not going to be on, you know, you can't go anywhere after this, after that, because this is what we're doing. Everyone agreed. And we picked the times that worked best for everybody. And there was some sacrifices.
Of course.
But we did it together.
I love that. I love that.
It was very strong.
Yeah. So I love that. Making that commitment, making it, I mean, I think anything that we do, sometimes we're just a little bit too lax about like, when I wake up, I'll pray, whenever that is.
Yeah.
And,
I get to mass 3 times this week sometime.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, we have to make that appointment with Jesus. We have to make that appointment with our spouse, with our children, whoever's involved. Right. Okay, so
Strongly
setting aside that time. Okay, great. All right. And so the booklet that we can use, I'm going to just share my screen right now so that you guys can see. This is one of the resources. You know, Myrna's not familiar with this because this is somebody that I went to Franciscan with. So this is actually welcomehis.heart.com. Her name is Emily Jaminet. She went to Franciscan. And this is a resource that kind of really pulls in bringing the Sacred Heart into your home, bringing it into your workplace, into your parish, all of these things. They have all kinds of, you know, books and kits and, you know, there's a shop there and a blog and videos and all the things. So, you know, I thought, I don't need to do all the things to duplicate what other people are doing. I need to lead people to the people that are doing it because I feel the call. And that's why I reached out to Myrna, is because I felt the call. She knows that my husband and I, after 13 years of marriage and infertility, that we're preparing our home and are going through the application process of filling out the paperwork right now for the application process to have foster children to hopefully adopt, God willing. And before we even do these things, the Lord's putting this in front, you know, let's work on the home spiritually. I almost did the blog on just talking about, preparing our home for foster kids. And it was like, he put this up in front and said, nope, the spiritual preparation of their home. I think that we think we just need to do a checklist of all the things that need to get ready in my house, which is like a million things, but the spiritual preparation is even more important because that's the environment that we're going to be doing all these things in, and we need to make him the king and the center of all those things, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, just from the inside out is what I
Yeah.
hear, you saying, and all that, all the time when we ask for healing. I don't know about y'all, but we've been through some very catastrophic illnesses and the most difficult death, and it's healing from the inside out, and
Yeah.
so as you were saying that, I just pictured, that the doors aren't open yet.
Yeah.
Okay. They're still closed right now because that's not happening yet. But when that inside's getting ready, it's literally going to burst open the doors. That's what I saw.
I love it. I love it. Thanks be to God. Thank you for sharing that vision. And I think that that's what the Lord wants, right? Because, he extends
Everyone.
his heart. Yeah, he extends his heart just so vulnerably. He just comes to us in that way. He's so disarming, and he just wants our love and our hearts too. And when we open the doors to him, we're so reserved in so many ways, and then we're so excessive in others. It's hard to be temperate. I think it's a lost virtue, right? But when we can just open those doors, and if you could just do it a crack, he runs with it. He goes
Just
with
lean.
it, right? Just lean into it, right? Just let him come in. And I think what a beautiful witness, Myrna, after all these years that you've done the enthronement. I know you can always do re-enthronement and all these different things. I think what would be a couple resources or advice or pieces of advice that you might want to leave us with?
When our couples used to come into the National Family Planning meetings, I would say, oh, by the way, if you don't want to know, you should leave now because you're fixing to know and you're going to be responsible.
Yeah.
So what a beautiful thing to be responsible for, that once you do it, you're going to want it for everybody.
Yeah.
You're going it. Oh my God. I remember that lined up my mother and my father, mother-in-law, my sister-in-law. We invited because we lived by each other. So we invited them and they had not done it before. And of course, what's the first thing they did? Right. It's like, well, Father, we need to schedule mine. And so that's
Yeah.
that's a big resource right there. Be prepared to be the resource is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Secondly, these are very old books, but if you want to know where it started, you talk to her, Saint Margaret Mary. Oh my goodness. So in this poor little book, look, it's been around the world. I put it in the mission house in Cuatro Ciénegas at our mission base. Look at this. It's all watered, it's stained, but it stays in my very special cabinet. And the key thing about it is she is the example of holy obedience.
Yes.
And holy obedience. And I want to say, well, that's not fair. I ought to be obedient too. Jesus told me himself, right? That's cheating.
I'm doing it too.
But to hear her sharing what he said to her alone is so huge. And then to imagine that even though it's old, Father Mateo, he has the endorsement of Pope Pius 13,
maybe,
on to the next pope. Not only do you have permission, but you must do this. Wow. Jesus, the Pope, you talking resources. That's if you want to prepare, if you just want to sit back and enjoy it and let him love you, absolutely do that. If you feel called to go a little deeper, then if you can get a hold of these, Jesus, King of Love, Father Mateo, Crawley, I don't even know how to pronounce it, and then the autobiography of this is so powerful. The first thing she does is ask forgiveness for protesting about writing it. How about that?
I think that's how I'm supposed to start my book.
There you go. Forgive me. I know not what I am doing.
So sorry about that.
So
at least I know I'm in good company.
And then you can Google it, as they say. It's so corny. I know the 12
But
promises from Home Enthronement. Read them. If that's not enough motivation and resource, I can't
sure.
help you. You can come into my home. You can come in. You're welcome. He's king.
I love it. I was reading a little bit about it or watching a video, and that part that I love that you said was like, um plan when you're going to do the prayers, plan out, the actual enthronement, right? Because it's actually like a set of prayers that you say, and having a priest or a deacon and all those things. And so as you'll get into the process, you'll learn more, about all the details, and you will see all those kind of things.
Simple.
Yeah. But that part of making a celebration, preparing that celebration, inviting other people like you did, your family, your community, into that so that they are a part of that. They're a part of making that him king, and they're a part of also being witness to, of the beauty, of the sacredness of that, of the graces. And I think that that's like a beautiful way to just continue, because you ask two people to show up, and if two people then tell two more people, and those two more people tell five.
And it's going to give you some direction when you're going to read. I know those resources will have some direction about that. It's not an open invitation. It's pretty specific as
Yeah.
to, because it is about you and your family and those that are going to be dwelling under that roof.
Yeah.
And what do we say? I mean, in the Mass now, we say about, that we're all opening under my roof, that how
Yeah.
blessed or how we are to come and dwell
Yeah.
underneath my roof.
I love it. Well, Myrna, thank you so much for being today here with us, because I think that just sharing from your experience just allows us to understand a little bit more of the process. And it's just hearing that story, I think, for me, is what I needed to kind of say, all right, when am I going to get this on the calendar and get with my husband so that we can do it? And I hope that you get the same inspiration from watching this, is figure out, let's click some of those links, let's talk about it, let's pray about it, and see the Lord's timing, and let him really be the leader in that process, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? Just doing special events for so many years, if you don't schedule it, it doesn't happen.
Yep.
And don't wait for the perfect time.
Yeah.
Kind of like trying to plan your own baby. Just absolutely do it as soon as possible. As soon as it comes in your heart, do it as soon as possible. And it doesn't have to be about like hoopla. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
make it about the hoopla, even though it suggests a few little things here and there. Keep it simple. It is
Yep.
simple. You'll have enough on your plate just being filled with things you've never been filled with before. The
Yeah.
King of Love.
Love it. All right. Well, that'll do it for our home enthronement installation of this Little with Great Love vlog. And I think if you want more inspiration, click some of those links. If you want to learn more about the Marian consecration I was talking about, that's also on our website. And also, if you want some great Cajun food and some wonderful things, I'll put a link for Myrna too, and you could click over there and get some goodies, because Lord knows when I want to celebrate, I want something good to eat.
Amen. Cooking with spirit.
All right, guys. God bless you.
Bless. Thank you.